Come stand at the back of your mat. A nice big step forward, so one leg out in front, one leg behind, so nice and tall, arms out to the side, and all we're going to do is just slowly lower your back knee down to the ground. As it brushes the ground, just throw a rotation over that front knee, back to center, raise, and back down again, nice and slow and controlled. So we're not really trying to add a strength element to this, but just stretching out through that hip, opening the front of the left hip up and getting our thoracic spine, our lumbar spine rotating, opening all that out as well. One more, drop it down, back to center, stand up, feet together and switch sides. Get a nice big wide stance, try to be almost as wide as you are tall. There, arms out to the side. Just slowly lower, rotate over that forward knee, and then raise back up and down. Nice controlled movements. Make sure you've got head stacked over shoulders, shoulders stacked over hips. Try and maintain that as you rotate. Just two more. Don't forget to breathe. Last one. Good. Up we go. Right, go to one side of your mat, guys. Take your feet just outside hip width apart. Semi squat down, so we're not trying to get too low here, but keep your chest up, arms out in front, and all we're going to do is side step, little steps over to the other side of your mat, maintaining the angle. Back again. Maintain the angle at your knee and at your hip. Try and keep nice and strong through your middle. Don't step too close together. Okay, we want to keep those knees outside, hip width apart as well. And just really try and get into those legs, get them really working down in this low position. Final one, and stand up straight. Give your legs a shake. Take it down onto all fours. We're going to get more into those hips and glutes. Nice simple set of hydrants. 5 on each side. 5 on the right leg and 5 on the left. And relax. Bring it back up. And we're going to stand. Feet together, middle of your mat. We're going to raise our left knee up. We're going to turn it out to the side and move around into a nice deep sumo squat. Bring the leg back up the opposite way. Go to the right leg, take the right knee high, rotate it out to the back corner of your mat, sink down, keep your chest upright, and then bring the leg back over. Imagine you've got 2 hurdles either side, and you are stepping over those hurdles with this leg that you're lifting and bringing it back over the same way. One more on each side. Sink as low as you feel comfortable there, so don't take it too low if you're starting to feel any discomfort. Just checking here, making sure we're getting our knees driving out over our feet and not coming inwards. Okay, so we're going to finish our warm-up bit now with a little bit of skill work that we're going to need for our moves today. We're going to start off jogging on the spot. Small steps, so we're not trying to do high knees. Just a little bit of movement. And when I call now, all we're going to do is we're going to drop into a quarter squat with our feet just outside hip width apart. Knees only ever so slightly bent, but I want you to stick it. Okay, so no squatting down low. So all we're going to do is go and just stop in a nice tall high squat position. Have a quick look down, check your frame. What are your knees doing? Are they coming in? Press them out. Okay, are your hips right down here? Stand up a little bit. Hips should be above knees. Okay, nice strong position and back to feet moving. We're going to do a couple of these. We want to see how quickly we can get into that solid static position. Ready? Go. And if you listen, you might hear your feet on the floor. That's a good thing. Let's go again. That's what we want. We want that dynamic contact with the ground. This is going to be today our catch position. Ready? Go. go. Nice. One more time with the fast feet. Ready, go. Good work. Okay, we're going to do 3 more of those catch positions, but instead of from fast feet now, we're going to go feet underneath our hips. We're going to go up onto our tiptoes, stand nice and tall, and drop into that catch position, that ready position, sporting ready position almost. Good. And again, 2 more of those. Elevate up, get your balance on your tiptoes. Ready, go. Drop and catch. Check your frame. Is it stacked? Is it strong? Are your knees driving out over your toes? Good. One more time. Up onto your tiptoes and go. Awesome work. Good stuff. Right, grab your little weight or big weight, depending what you're on. And I'll very, very quickly just going to go through today's exercises. First one is a combination of last week's 1 and 2. So we do a press and then a reverse lunge. Okay, remember we lunge back with the leg, same leg goes back as the one that is supporting the weight. And we go 8 repetitions of that on our right side. We've got a minute to do those 8 reps and then we switch to the left side. Okay, same again, press up, there, get nice and stable, lower back, back knee just brushes the ground, and we stand back up. Those are exercises 1 and 2. 3 and 4, this is where that catch comes into play. So you've got about a minute now to have a little practice at these. Last week we did a swing. This is a mini swing, okay? So the hips only go back a couple of inches here. Weight hangs down between my legs, okay? And I'm going to drive my hips forward like I was doing on the swing, but instead of bringing the weight out in front, I'm going to pull it up high, just like we're doing on those high pulls, okay? The catch is then here, up, and we drop into that strong catch position, and we catch the kettlebell here, nicely on our forearm, our bicep, and our shoulder. If you have a dumbbell, then you're going to be catching it here, just somewhere in a nice strong position with your elbow underneath the weight. Have a practice, a couple of practices of those. Don't bend your chest forward, just sink the hips down. So little soft knees, weight goes down between your legs, hips drive forward, up onto your toes, pull and catch in position there. Just pause that before we go. Have a couple of goes on each side. Key things are speed of hips. So it's really trying to be a dynamic hip action there, which is what gets that weight lifting up, and then control it. Let the kettlebell roll over, and as you sink down, as the kettlebell drops, that's what stops it from banging. Okay? So we're up and down with the weight of the kettlebell. And as you feel the kettlebell touch onto your forearm and your bicep, that's when you hit that catch position. Okay? Don't worry if they're not all fluent and fine as we go through this workout. It's something that you will get better and better and better at doing. The more you practice it, the more you will work out exactly how to time the roll of the kettlebell and to catch it in position. If you guys are on dumbbells, then we're ready to go, no problemo. So we do, again, 1 minute on the right arm, 1 minute on the left. The final exercise, you're going to have the kettlebell start off down on the floor. If you've got a dumbbell here, you're probably going to tip the dumbbell on its end, like so. Okay, having it vertically. And then all we do is legs nice and wide apart, so much wider than hips. Toes pointing out, and we do like we did on our kettlebell swing, so our hip creases push back, our chest goes down towards the floor, back stays nice and straight here, and we go down to pick up the weight and drive back up. So it's just a sumo deadlift action. It's not super heavy, it's really about the movement with a nice wide stance, trying to get into those outer hips. We're keeping that back dead straight and your shoulders engaged. So I'm not letting my shoulders round here, Keeping my shoulder blades pulled in together and letting all the work come through my hips. If you want to check your form whilst you're doing it, take a look at your shins. Do they stay vertical? If they do, you're doing a good job. If as you go down, your shins lean forward, that means you're getting too much into your quads and you're not sending your hips backwards enough, okay? So you can check your positions there. Are your shins nice and vertical? And those are our exercises. So nice and simple, yep.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Lucas, sorry to interrupt. I'm unable to pin you to my screen on my iPad at the moment. Do you have any idea why that might be? Or how I might be able to fix it?
Oh, mate, you're asking the wrong. Is there 3 buttons above my picture?
3 dots.
3 dots, sorry.
No, there isn't. It's not behaving the same way that it normally does when I use it for the school. I was just wondering if you...
Can someone spotlight me? If there's anyone else, Nick, can you spotlight me and that might help? That's worked before, Lucas.
We can't spot you, like it doesn't seem to work the same on iPads as it does on a laptop. So we've been able to pin you on a laptop, but you can't do it on an iPad.
I think I might have just done it because I'm on the laptop. Lucy's just trying to do it on the iPad. Actually, she's doing it in the other room. Yeah. So does that work? You know, pins for everybody.
Does that work, Luca?
Lucas, has that got it on, mate?
That hasn't worked right now. This same problem has happened before and it has fixed itself, so don't worry too much.
Do the best you can. If you've have to hold it up close to you, Lucas, so you get so you can get an image of us. Once you get the hang of the exercises, okay, you can they'll be the same. It's 3 rounds through of each one of those, okay? So once you get the hang of it, hopefully, if you watch through carefully the first round through, okay, and then you'll hopefully be able to just go off and just listen to my voice on the second 2 rounds. Okay, mate?
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right then, guys, so let's get going. So we're going to do 8 repetitions to start off with of our press and reverse lunge. We're going to go 10 repetitions of our high pull and catch, and we're going to go 16 of our deadlifts. All right? So it's going to be a 5-minute round, a minute break, 3 times through. Are we ready to get going? In 3, 2, 1. Let's get started. Weight up to your shoulder, dip, press, and same leg, lunge back. Remember, lower it down nice and slowly. Reset, dip and press, and lunge backwards. We've got 8 repetitions. We've got a minute to do it, so we don't need to go super fast, but at the same time, just try and get a nice fluent rhythm. That's halfway. We're not quite at 30 seconds yet. Use those legs, remember, to help you drive the weight up into that static overhead position. 2 more reps. Try not to let that knee crash into the floor behind. And rest it there. Get the remainder of the minute, which is 6 seconds. We're going to switch sides onto our left arm. Let's go. The main reason we're keeping the weight the same on this one, we could probably all have gone maybe a little bit heavier because of what we did last week, doing it a couple of times through. But just putting together these new movements, it's always a great idea, if technique is key, which we know it is, to make sure that the weight is more than manageable, and then you can move it on at the next juncture. 1 more rep. Good work. Okay, got 10 seconds. Already we went through a little bit quicker on that one. So this is our right pull, dynamic hips, catch into that static position, and we're going 10 repetitions. drive and catch. Stand up straight. Again, reset your position. Really drive those hips through, just like you were doing at the end of your kettlebell swings from last week. The actual weight doesn't matter too much on these kind of exercises. It's more the speed at which you can get that weight moving, how quickly you can control it into that catch position. So we're really trying to develop some power output through our muscles. One more rep. Nice. Okay, same on the other side. In 5.
2, 1. Left clear.
You're going to find one side is better than the other, that your coordination works better on one side. That's okay. This means you've got more and more opportunities to learn and develop your movements. Make sure you're in a nice strong position when you hit that catch, and just pause there for a second or two, just to show you've got that stability. One more. Good. 10 seconds. Pop your weight down to the floor, middle of the mat. Nice wide stance. You want the weight to be directly in between your heel bones. And bend, hips down, hips forward. Slowly lower till the weight just brushes the floor, and straighten back up. Again, we're moving down slowly and coming up a little bit like we did with our swings. Adding a little bit more speed to that lifting movement. Should feel this down the inside of your thighs, as well as your hamstrings and your glutes. Completely lost count how many reps we've done. But we get a minute's rest after this before we're back to the top. One more. Should do it nicely. Nice work. Get a minute's rest. Nick, you can go and put the tea on. Get some water to boil for the pasta, whatever it is that's going down tonight. Got a whole minute to do it now, not just 30 seconds. And it's as simple as that, guys. Slightly more complex groupings of exercises. A little bit more going on than last week. Ideally, I want you to feel that the weight that you're using is manageable. You know, I don't want you kind of really struggling to get the weight up, to lift it, to pull it. It should feel comfortable. Today, we're just nailing down some of these really awesome compound movements. Because when you get really good at them and you do start to load it through either time, tempo, weight, you get some really, really, really great results from it. Okay, press to lunge, we're ready to go. Right arm first, into your catch position on your shoulder, and let's go. Drive and lunge. Got to think about where your breathing comes in here. Remember, every time you breathe, you're taking effort and energy away from your working muscles. And that's awesome if your working muscles are purely your middle. So on ab exercises, a lot of yoga moves. But here, really trying to stabilize through the shoulder and through the hip as we go into that lunge. It's a great idea to hold that breath in and get your breaths in at the top, and rest there. Whew. Switch sides. Let's go. halfway there. Make sure you reset after every movement. Slowly lower. Go again. Press. We're going to build, whether you can believe it or not at the minute, this whole movement into one super powerful, explosive movement in a couple of weeks. I'll let you all think on that one. Last rep. How that might happen. Okay, right hand or left hand, we go into our clean to catch.
Right clean.
Mini hinge, drive the hips, and catch. You can slow the whole thing down here. If you have got a kettlebell and you're kind of struggling with the whole way in which you catch it, do like we did last week. High pull it and then let it go, roll over as you go into your catch position. Okay? But if you're comfortable with the catch, you can play it so that you get that hit on the floor of your feet. Which lets you know, and rest there, you're landing in a super, super strong position. Whew. All right, left side. Ready? Let's go. Drive from the hips, guys. The little shrug with the shoulder, as well as a little pull, little jerk with the arm to get that weight up. And then you drop your body to not only meet the weight, but to cushion the weight as well. As I said, here with these cleans, we've got the added advantage of our shoulder, last one, and our bicep, rest it there to catch the weight with. When we start to get overhead with our catches, that's where you may need the padding. Sumo deadlifts. And let's go. Oh, let go then. Then again, you can do your breath at the top. So as you're moving, lowering the weight to the floor, you can really think about bracing through your abdominals, your obliques, and your lower back. Make sure you draw an imaginary line in between your ankle bones, and that's where you need to place the weight, touch the weight to the ground, or hover it if it's not quite big enough to get down to the ground in between those ankle bones, and rest there. Whew.
1. Rest.
Nice work, minute to catch your breath. And we've got one more round, that's all. One more round, then we've got a 4-minute abdominal set, which is just the exact follow on from what we did last week. So we're just going to get really good at that. That's our aim. And it might take a bit more than 4 minutes today, we'll see. Depends how quick you are on your Russian twists. Final round then, guys. Hopefully, Lucas, you've got an idea now of what we're doing, what the exercises are. So you can give it a really good effort in this one. Try and pay attention to all those technical details. Get those right, then start to try and add the speed to the weight. Are we ready then, guys? Right arm, let's press, and lunge. Hopefully you guys will feel so much more comfortable doing these presses and the reverse lunge today in comparison to last week. And a lot of that is what we talked about, that familiarization, training the brain, which is one of the biggest elements. Last one, for building strength and ability, is training the brain. 6 seconds, switch sides. Are we ready? So let's go. Press and step back. A little bit of a dip with the knees. Generate that speed so we're not just pressing from the shoulder. Taking out that starting strength requirement of the press, which we don't want that in. Our shoulders have enough to cope with, let alone being asked to press a weight from a low position, such as that. We want the high stuff, we want the elevation, we want the stability there as we move. One more. Lost count, but I'm going to do one more. Always better to do one more than one less. Okay, clean time, switch arms. Back to that right arm. Little bit of a hip flex and extend and catch. See if you can feel yourself going up onto your toes a little bit as well. So your hip, your knees, and your ankles all go through a little bit of an extension. Our main aim here would be to be able to do this without any elbow bend. So it's all coming from our hips, our knees, and our ankles, and a little bit of a shoulder shrug. That's our overall aim. Don't expect you guys to be there just yet. Last one. Whew. If you're getting there, awesome. There's a saying in this kind of work: as soon as the elbows bend, we ready? The power ends. Let's go. So the longer we can keep that arm nice and long, the more we know we're generating lots and lots of power from our hips, knees, and ankles. And boy, do we need that off the blocks. We haven't got a lot of time. When the gun goes, to generate as much force as you can. So the better you can get at generating force and speed in the shortest amount of time possible, the better your start is going to be. I think that's 10, I don't know. Let's do one more. All right, good work. Final round, deadlifts. Set that weight between your ankle bones, straight line. Hip creases go back. If you feel that your shoulders are kind of going below your hips here, if you've only got a small weight, then you might just want to think about hovering that weight a couple of inches off the ground. Really, we want those shoulders to be just a little bit higher than our hips. If you've got someone in the room with you that can have a look at you side on, just check when your is down at the floor, are your shoulders higher than your hips, and are your hips higher than your knees. Maybe got about 4 more reps. And rest it there.
4-minute abs plus stretch.
Nice work. It's just called it 4-minute abs. Coming up. We're going to get ready to go in 20 seconds. If you can't see me on the floor, if you can't see the mat, I'm going to go Russian twist up to 5. So that's 1 hit on each side, 1 super crunch with the weight on my chest. 2 taps on either side, 2 super crunches. I'm going to do that through to 5, then I'm going to do a minute of plank. Are we ready? So you can stay with me, you can go at your own pace. If you go quicker on the Russian twist, that's fine, but you've got to hold your plank until I call it, okay? So we all start the second round of this together. Whew. Are we ready to go then? In 3, 2, 1, let's do it. Tip on either side, weight to your chest, super crunch. And then 2 taps on either side. Keep control of the weight, so don't let it slam into the ground. Try and keep that back nice and straight as you rotate. 3 on each side, and 3 supers. 4 on each side. That's 8 in total. 6, 7, 8. 4 supers. And final round then. 10 taps in total. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 crunches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop your weight down. Take ourselves round into a plank. Minute plank. Here we go. Now make this a nice strong plank. Send those shoulder blades either side. So we don't want our shoulders to be sinking here. Be nice and strong through your upper back. Tuck your tailbone down towards your ankles. Squeeze the mat together if you want to, like we've done on our super planks. Don't let those hips ride up. Don't let them sink down. Haven't got my usual self on screen here to check that I've got my straight line between ankles, hips and shoulders. If I have, awesome, copy it. If I haven't, just make sure that you do it. Nearly there, 10 more seconds. So these Russian twists take just over a minute to do the rounds of 5. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Go back to your weight, bit of fatigue now in the abdominals. So you've got to work it even harder. Let's go, 1 on each side, and you'll feel this on those super crunches. 4 taps, 2 crunches. 1, 2, 6 taps. 3 crunches. 1, 2, 3, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, the higher you hold your weight up onto your chest, harder it is. 8, 9, 10, and let go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great work, guys. Final minute plank. Let's go. And just hold it strong. Don't worry if there's a bit of shaking going on. It's totally normal. Those shoulder blades apart. Good pressure into the mat. Spread your fingers, claw into the mat with those fingertips. If you need to, press those heels back, elongate everything. Pull up your navel towards your spine. About that tent pole, lifting up your middle. 15 seconds, guys. Nearly there. Nearly there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Woo. Nicely done. Nicely done. Guys, down on your hands and knees. Just get those arms out in front. We'll go straight down into our extended child's pose. Have your knees together for this first one. Try and get nicely into those shoulders. Nice stretch out, feel that underneath your armpits. Bit through your chest as well. Rock it forward. Take the knees out to the outside of your mat, toes touching, big toes touching. And sink it down again, a little bit deeper this time. Feel that stretch coming all the way down to your waistline, through your lower back. Just allow your head to relax and rest on the ground. Rock it back forward, bring your left butt up front. Let's tuck those right toes. Wasn't going to tuck them, but then I started getting cramp in my foot, so I thought, what a jolly good time to tuck your back toes. So let's just go straight into that full-on hip flexor stretch. If you don't feel like tucking your back toes, you don't have to. We're just going to spend a bit of time here now, guys. So you can tuck for a bit, you can untuck. Just try and stay nice and tall. And just breathe. Just feel it lengthening out, extending out, relaxing. One more breath there. And rock it back. Change legs, right leg forward. And I better tuck my back toes on my left leg as well, behind, just to even things out. And again, we're just going to spend some time. Nothing fancy today. Just hold in that position and breathe in. Just feeling it extend, extend, extend. With all that fast dynamic power work through the hips, so important here that we get into the front of the hips and the rear of the hips. So there's going to be a lot of work going on through there. Relax it back. Keep your right foot in front. We're going to go back to our stretch through our piriformis. So bring your right foot across and drop your shin down to the ground. And just allow your weight to sink down and feel that stretch coming all the way through the back of the hips now.
Your timer is complete.
It's not quite complete yet, Mr. Timer. We've got one more stretch to do. Again, just spending a bit of time just to stretch out. Done the front side of the hips. We'll get the back side of the hips done now. Did a little bit into our back at the start. We'll just finish obviously with our good old-fashioned cobra to down dog sequence. Raise yourself back up, switch sides. And lower and relax. Play around with your angle at your knee. Some of you might have it tucked in really tight, your heel quite close to your thigh. Some of you might have it miles away, right out here somewhere. From my experience, a couple of knee operations doesn't let that happen. That's the only reason. It's not inflexibility. Oh, no, 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 no. It doesn't really matter as long as you're feeling that, as you can feel it relaxing and lengthening out. Doesn't really matter too much as long as it's right for you. Okay guys, step it back up into a nice tall plank position, and from here lower the hips, shoulders away from your ears, raise your chin. Oh, nice bit of a movement, the shoulders side to side, and then send those hips backwards, tuck the toes, forefingers pointing forwards, slight bend at the knee. And then press those hips high and to the back. Press those heels into the ground. Lengthen, extend through your shoulders as you press your hands into the ground. Let your neck and head relax. And slowly, 1 inch at a time, walk the hands up towards the feet. Hold, hang, breathe. And 1 inch at a time, 1 vertebra at a time. Stack your spine, one on top of the other. Up tall, shoulders back, chin raised. Good work, guys. Fist, hand. Namaste.